Well, after a week of no soccer for Orange County Soccer Club, we come back with the USL Open Cup, and it wasn't a result that I think makes many people happy, but I think we all assumed that there isn't much on the line in that match for Orange County. So I think, looking ahead to season play is a big go for us. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the match this past weekend. We'll look at the upcoming match against New Mexico and more. We'll do that. Welcome to the Show of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only show dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I am your host, Ray Samora. I'm here to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. And joining me, as he has since the beginning, back in 2018, is Dylan. Dylan, this is 8 years now officially of this show, I believe, as of now, today, or somewhere around the state, right? I can't remember the exact day of our very first episode, but happy 8-year anniversary, Dylan.
Thank you, Raymond. Our first episode came out on June 12th, 2018. And here we are on June 9th, 2026, somehow still talking about Orange County. So it is a pleasure to be here. I can't believe I just started talking up to some random dude at a soccer game, and I've ended up at weddings because of that, and find myself busy every Tuesday night. So, it's wonderful. That is a nice positive about this week. Who cares about the result? It's our 8th anniversary and or birthday, depending on if you feel like you're married or a child.
I mean, the relationship I have with you, Dylan, it feels like a marriage, so we'll call it an anniversary. We have children that have joined us throughout these 8 years. One of those children is here, Mr. Brad, sort of a stepchild. Brad became more an adopted child, leaving Reno and coming to Orange County fandom. Brad, happy 8 years of the podcast, and I can't remember exactly how long you've been on, but how are you doing, man?
I've been here for 6 years, and I'm older than Dylan, so the fact of the matter that you are saying I'm a child somehow in this regard is a little concerning. You might need to get your eyes checked, oldie.
We should have put Larry. You're right. And it's kind of fitting. We had John Macaluso from, what was then SportsCast Weekly on our first episode. And here we are, the Reno flavor, alive and well.
Yeah, Reno has had a great connection with us in the podcast, and I still can't believe we've survived 8 years of this. Part of that is because of the great sideline presence of the fourth member of tonight's show, and that is the bearded one, Larry. I don't know where do we put Larry in this. Obviously, I think he's way too old to be one of our children, Dylan. So maybe Uncle Larry. Is he? Is that the way the kids say it? Is Unc?
I think if you have to ask, you don't know. I'm sure someone's yelling. Someone's child is yelling as they're driving to work. That's not what that means. Sorry, kids. We're old and out of touch. We don't know what's happening.
How you doing, Larry?
I'm good, and I have been here for half of the show. So this is fourth year for me. So yes. It's pretty cool to have gotten invited, and just because I started talking to some random dude at a soccer game, a few years ago, I ended up on this show and busy every Tuesday night and on the sidelines of the only professional soccer team in Orange County.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And obviously we couldn't have done this without support from listeners, fans, the soccer club itself, and really the soccer community, because we've definitely embraced, we've had, if you look back at our history, Dylan, right, we've gone all over the place. We've had a legit newspaper, journalist join us at midnight in Pittsburgh. We Elsie Steele from USL. She was actually a USL employee the year that we were in the Western Conference Finals against Phoenix, I believe. She came and joined us and talked to us. We've had, big announcers. We've had fellow podcasters. We've had players all over the place it's been an awesome 8 years, and we hope this will continue going much longer, hopefully, unless any of y'all are ready to be done with this. But enough about that. Thanks to the listeners that have supported us through those 8 years, whether you're from the start or you just recently found us. Thank you. If you like what you've heard and seen over these 8 years, make sure you follow us on social media. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, follow, repost anything that we share. Larry posts a lot of stuff on Instagram. That's great coverage for the club. And I know our producer Andy in the background does a lot of work on the social media aspect of stuff. And also make sure you check out our website for the written content. We still do a lot of great written content. Thanks to the writing team for that as well. All right, now that's all out of the way. We'll probably have one last moment where we'll talk about the past 8 years towards the end of this episode, but we do have to talk about Orange County Soccer Club. And let's talk quickly about the results of the USL Cup match this past weekend that saw Orange County travel up to Palmdale, Lancaster. I forget which neck of the woods. It's all the same.
Lancaster.
Second year in a row they've had to do that for this competition. I want to question the scheduling committee for why didn't we get the home match this year in this reverse fixture, basically. But Orange County goes up to what seemed to be a very windy home field up there in the desert. And we got an early doorbell, Mr. Producer Andy, doorbell man. How are you doing?
Hey, to clarify, we played there last year in the U.S. Open Cup. This is the USL Cup, different competitions, Ray.
Then thanks for the correction. I stand corrected there. And watching the highlights, if you don't watch the video format of that, we're watching that right now. Looks like they even had like some sort of DJ party going on at the stadium. But let's talk about the results in the match. Looked like AV went up early, but there was an offside call. Orange County then quickly capitalizes on a moment. Tom Brewitt with a goal to the back of the net, but we concede 2 goals after that. We lose the match. Last week we were talking about it. There's really nothing, there's nothing to play for Orange County at this point in this competition. So we expected to see some youngsters. We did see some youngsters. Dylan, your thoughts on this match up in the desert against AV Alta?
I think we all just kind of hope no one get hurt. And that was, we'll see how that one kind of turned out. Unfortunately, it's very annoying when you manage to concede, 0.49 XG or something and lose 2-1. But it happens, and it was a pretty mixed squad. Ultimately, I'm not super worried about it. We were out of this one pretty much after the first match, so if we lost this game 50-0, I wouldn't really care all that much. It's fine. Ultimately, we have a grace and duty not get hurt for the rest of the year, and that's a win. In a match like this, we had nothing to play for. AV Alta also really had nothing to play for, but I'm sure bragging rights or something feel good and make things a little bit better being the underdogs. We didn't get a result, and that's all right. But the performance maybe leads to some questions moving forward through the summer as we head back into the league.
Well, Dylan, why Grayson Doty did not get injured, because we had a stand-in, a lookalike by the name of Grayson Doty playing in this match, at least according to the broadcaster, all night long. Doty. I did not hear the correct name at all throughout that match. Brad, what did you think of Grayson Doty's performance and standing in for Grayson Doty there in the match?
I'll echo what Dylan said. He didn't get hurt. I will not linger on what you said about name pronunciation. I know that you are a big critic of it, but I'm a big offender of it, so I can't really be one to say anything about it. I think the issue, and again, we've all kind of talked about how we feel about this cup, but Dylan also nailed it on the head when he said after the first game we didn't have anything to play for. I think that's an issue with the cup that you're playing if the second game means nothing.
I totally agree with that mindset on there. Definitely need to make the games, I guess, more worth something, especially as you get later on to this competition. In fact, teams basically feel knocked out really early on. It just sort of makes it seem like the rest of the games aren't really much to play for until you get to the knockout stages of it, right? Larry, what do you think? Were you satisfied with the match. I know the result probably isn't what we would love to see. Obviously, I think we all want to see Orange County win every single match week in, week out. But like Dylan and Brett have said, limit the injuries, get out there, return home. And I think the main competition is league play. What are your thoughts on this match? Are you happy with it?
There were some really nice moments in this match. We saw Tom Brewitt score his first goal for Orange County Soccer Club. He had one, I believe, in preseason last year. So this is, this is a cup game, so it's not, USL Championship game. But Tommy got his first true Orange County Soccer Club goal, and he did that while fighting a flu bug, which is part of the reason he came out of the game when he did. I don't think Duty got hurt. I think it was just more of a precautionary, just to give people a little bit of extra rest still. And I'd like to point out that the second goal that Alta scored, the three players that he beat, if you take their cumulative age, if you add all of their ages up together, the three of them that he got by are still younger than me. So I don't know if it's much of a flex on his part with the goal that he scored. I mean, yeah, it was nice. Great. Congratulations. You beat two high school sophomores and a high school junior. Awesome. Good for you. Should we have won? Probably. We're obviously a much better team than Alta. Did we win? No. Did I lose any sleep over it? Absolutely not. I went to bed that night and slept like an absolute baby. And I'm looking forward to Saturday and, whatever the hell's going on then.
All right. I guess there we go. Any last thoughts, Dylan, before we move on and look forward to our next match? Any last thoughts on the match against AV?
It's disappointing. Again, I hope this doesn't become something of a slide. And I think a lot of it's down to injury issues. I want to give credit to John Morrissey for pointing out that a lot of Orange County's strength has been built upon its midfield. And when pretty much every single one of your starting midfielders is out, hurt, it's hard to perform to the same level. But Orange County is going to need to figure out a way through that. Injuries are going to continue to be a part of the season, I'm sure. So at this point, we just have to figure out a way to win despite that. So I can read, thank you, producer Annie. So I can read John Morrissey's quote fully. It turns out that a really midfield-driven defensive system is going to be inconsistent without your best midfielders. So while we might not be at best, we need to find a way all the same. I will reiterate, I'm glad we're doing this in June and not in September.
There we go. Smart words from you, Dylan, and John Morrissey as well. So obviously at this point, the most important competition for Orange County is league play, the USL Championship. Luckily, Orange County is still standing pretty decent in there, I believe, right? I mean, second place is not bad. And when you do get to play your best midfielders, then you put yourself in a good position with the sort of tactics that we're seeing from Orange County this season. They're going to be facing a battle on the road against New Mexico United. Always tough to play there. It's not typically mentioned as high altitude location, but I believe it's still one of the stadiums that is at least higher altitude. Dylan looks like he wants to correct me on something. No, I thought you were reaching for the good side, Dylan.
I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you keep going.
No, go for it. Correct me.
Just okay. All right. I don't really know where to begin with this one, but the elevation really is not as much of an issue. I understand it's at 5,000 feet, but you still have like 92 or 91% availability of like actual oxygen compared to being at sea level. And this is not a aerobic based sport in the way that it is. A lot of it is about how you can recover from anaerobic efforts, which means that this is so lame that I'm talking about this.
No, actually, Dylan, it's not. Go, keep talk.
Essentially, the main thing is your aerobic fitness, what you can do at sea level at a sub-threshold effort, doesn't necessarily or at all contribute to how you can perform at altitude. The biggest issue is still the preparation going into things. The biggest issue is still going to be specifically men's issues in terms of repeat physiological efforts at max effort. So, and versus like the women's game, you wouldn't see this issue when the women's teams go to Denver. It's not going to be the same kind of thing, but men have this like burnout really hard kind of situation. So there's enough availability of oxygen. It's purely a recovery thing. And ultimately, because someone asked us a few weeks ago, why don't we train at altitude? The amount of time that you would have to spend at altitude to get any better at anaerobically performing at altitude means that we would be playing at altitude all the time. We'd be a Big Bear based team instead. Ultimately, it's just not an effective thing. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Wow.
And Ray, if I could just interject something right here for those of you unaware, Dylan runs ultra marathons. So if he's talking about this healthy stuff and oxygen and all this other shit, listen to him. He knows what the hell he's talking about.
And see, the thing is that that's all at
just
low effort. No, that's all low effort stuff. So that makes a bigger difference. At altitude, you do need to acclimate for things. That's why you see people climbing Mount Everest needing to go early, right? Or people who are going to Colorado climbing 14ers, for example, climbing Mount Whitney. They will come up to altitude and train and then go back down to recover. But that is only helpful until a certain point around threshold. And once you're above that threshold effort, we're talking 5 to 10 second efforts, which is, the length of you running down the pitch. It really doesn't matter as much. That's it. I think I've should probably just go get a master's degree or something. I don't know.
There you go, I guess. All right, so let's sort of talk about this match. Orange County sitting second on the table. I believe New Mexico is sitting seventh in the Western Conference. But it's only a 5-point swing between the two teams, and Orange County has played one additional match. So these teams are pretty evenly matched when it comes to the record and the points. Brad, I know, and I'm going to let everyone else know. I know you have a lot of attention elsewhere. You got your Canes hat going. I know you're an NHL person, so I will call on you from time to time, but feel free if you are focused elsewhere. I don't mind it. It's sports. But what are your thoughts on this matchup for Orange County against New Mexico? Do you think Orange County can travel to Albuquerque and take the full 3 points on the road?
Being someone who will be in Albuquerque at the time of the game, I'm hoping, and I'll let you know what the air is like up there. I'll be on my way through town eastbound. I know I've mentioned this on the show past, but it's about time that I'm moving out, going to Oklahoma this upcoming weekend, and it just so happens to perfectly time that I can catch a match in Albuquerque and grab some green chili, because green chili is better than red chili, and I hope, all of you guys agree. I know Ray probably doesn't, because Ray doesn't like agreeing on anything. Look, Orange County has been performing very well in the regular season. Should be a good game. Albuquerque has been a spot that the team has dropped a lot of points, but it's not been a horrible record. I don't think we've won there, but I think we've only lost a relative handful of games during our time out there.
Mr. Larry, your thoughts on the match?
I think it's going to be low scoring. I think that if we can get out of there with a point, I think that is that's a successful weekend for the team. We don't give up goals, and they're not really scoring a lot of goals, so that bodes well for our defense. But we do need our captain at 100% strength, so hopefully he's drinking a lot of fluids and getting the rest that he needs to recover. I would love to see Kevin Partita back. I don't know where he is or where it stands with his injury, and I think we need to see Stephen Kelly back as well. If we get some of these guys back, we should have no problem getting out of there with a draw at minimum. I don't think if we lose, it's a start to wring your hands and clutch your pearls kind of moment when we're still not even halfway through the season. I mean, we're almost there, not quite. but we need to have a good performance here. And we have been performing well this entire season. I don't think we've had a truly bad game all year. Nothing pops out immediately. If you guys can think of one that was really bad, please don't hesitate to tell me. But I can't think of a truly bad performance we've had all year. So as long as the team goes in, performs like it's capable, like it has all year, as long as Danny has prepared the team properly, as he seems to every single week, we should have no problem getting out of there with at least a point. I'm concerned that we still aren't scoring very many goals. I'd like to see Zubak healthy and putting goals in the back of the net. I'd like to see McKinnon get a couple of more. As much as I love seeing Tom Brewitt score a goal, that's not the guy that I want to see scoring goals. That's not necessarily his job. So, we come out of there with a point. Great, fantastic, happy.
I quoting, talk about our 8-year history of this show, Dylan. It sounds like Larry is pulling out his inner Alan Underwood with come away with a point on the road, and we're happy. What do you think? Is that a good sort of baseline goal in this match? Go to Albuquerque, come home with 1 point, or do you really feel like Orange County needs to, come back strong here after what seems like now? I mean, it seems like it's been a while since their last victory, even though it was only a couple weeks ago against Oakland in Santa Ana. Do you feel more that Orange County needs to really focus on the full 3 points?
It's helpful. I think being pragmatic is kind of the focus from Orange County and from Danny Stone and from the players. If we can nick a goal, great, and you try and hold on to that. There's no need and no reason to play expansive footy when you're, let's look at this for a handful of reasons. At 5,000 or 5,100 feet or whatever Isotopes Field's at, there's no reason to play expansive when you are leading. It's not particularly helpful, which is why we often see the team kind of sit back and try to defend a lead. Ultimately, the better side of that is also that we just won't wear through our players the same way. And when we have this host of injury issues, sure, shooting for a draw, if that's the most pragmatic way to get a result here, that's good because it is a point. And with how the West is right now, I mean, we're looking at two teams that are in league play at least pretty evenly matched, despite 5 points being the difference between them. I mean, obviously, New Mexico obviously has a game in hand, but lately, I mean, if we look at their matches, if we can discount the 4-0 against Phoenix over the weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute, but 0-0 against Hartford, 1-0 over Charleston. They lost 1-0 to Tampa. And then, another weird group stage match was they lost 4-0 to Colorado. So it kind of feels like this one's going to either be a 4-0 for one of these teams, or it might be a 0-0 or 1-0 with something getting won late on. But to essentially to come back to your answer, or to come back to your question, I don't think it's a bad strategy.
All right. Not a bad strategy. Hey, a point would be nice because it would probably guarantee we're at least staying in the top 4 of the Western Conference after this weekend. Who do we need to see step up in this match, Brad, for success for Orange County this weekend? Who do you want to see step up?
Thinking about that, it's really whoever starts up top, whether it's Scylla, whether it's McKinnon, moving forward on that. I know we have a lot of youth that's been playing up top too, but we have a lot of people that we've been very high on over the last couple of years who have also stayed here for multiple years in a row. McKinnon and Scylla aren't two new people to the lineup. Zubak's not new to the team. We know that they're all capable of scoring, 5-10 goals a season. And yet I feel like we're not saying their names enough, whether that means we're not scoring a lot during games or there are other positions contributing to goals. But I'd like to hear somebody up top's name on the announcer, or really on the PA system in Albuquerque on Saturday.
So you want to see goals coming from where goals typically come from, and those are from the attackers, whether it's the center forward / striker or the wingers contributing to those goals. Any thoughts? I know we've talked about the field needs to maybe get some key players back. I want to see the defense play strong defense. I feel like it's been a while since we've had a good defensive match. And it would be nice to see if Orange County can get back to really what we were seeing from them early on in the season, right? Is conceding no more than one goal in a match and really putting yourself in a position for Larry's result of at least a result, 1 point, if not more, if you can just score a goal or two in your end of things. I know that's not everyone's favorite style of play. They want to see more attack oriented. They want to see more action. But I really want to potentially see us get back to what we saw early on, just stout defense. Don't give up anything. Don't concede if we can avoid it. And that would be nice to see. Do we want to go through and get some predictions for this match? Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go to you first, Larry. What is your prediction against New Mexico on the road this next match? What do you think?
It's a tough one. I was just looking up some stats, and in April, I think we only conceded like 4 goals in the entire month in 6 games. In May, we conceded 9 goals. So we're kind of backsliding a little bit there. I would like to see us get back to a clean sheet, 1 maximum. So if we can come out of there with a 1-1 or a 0-0 game, I think that's great for my prediction. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with 0-0, 0-0.
0-0 from Larry in this match. So for those of you that are fans of goal scoring, you're not going to like what Larry had to say there. Brad, are you going to make people more excited?
I'll be slightly more exciting. I'll say it's a 1-0 Orange County game, and I do have to amend a prior statement I made. Orange County has won a game at in New Mexico and Albuquerque, and that was in 2019 against New Mexico United. Final score of 2-0. So more of that. Only 7 years later, I hope.
All right. What about you, Dylan?
Yeah. I don't think this is going to be the craziest match. When I think back to that match in New Mexico, it was September, I think. It was late on in the year. And I believe it was the last time that Hugo Arellano played for Orange County. Really, I think Conto Owusu-Ansah was out with a concussion. I hope I'm right, because that would be quite the pull. But it wasn't the prettiest game that Orange County ever had. I don't think this one will be necessarily super pretty. I'm going to go 2-1 Orange County. Joe Figueroa in the chat dropping the same one. I think someone else also suggested 2-1. I might be wrong.
Oh, we got Bry Guy here.
3-0 New Mexico.
3-0 New Mexico. Yeah, let's print that up, post it in the locker room for training this week for the team and the players. I'm going to go 2-0 Orange County in this, but we got to make sure we get a copy of this to the team so they can post it up in the locker room. And maybe our guest this evening will share what he saw on our show regarding that score line. And let's bring the guest on if we can make this happen. The guest is a midfielder for your Orange County Soccer Club, Mr. Chris Hegardt. Chris, welcome. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me on again. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, no, thank you for taking some time to come back on. I know, especially after probably is a very long bus ride to and from the desert area past LA out there in Lancaster, Palmdale area. I'm sure it's not a fun trip home after the result. But obviously the focus we're looking at here is league play, and that's what we have coming up this weekend. Do you agree more with my score prediction of 2-0, or do you think Bry Guy is hitting it on the nose there with his 3-0 New Mexico scoreline? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I like your score prediction. I think we're going to go there and get a win. It's a big game for us, so we're feeling ready.
We were having a little bit of a conversation before you joined on, and Dylan was jumping on saying altitude doesn't really matter as much as some people like to make it out to be. You actually play sports, and you've played in various, whether it's weather, altitudes, locales. Does the altitude impact players that are high level athletes, or is Dylan correct and it's not much of an impact?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I think for me, like we played up in Colorado Springs, and I think that's way higher than New Mexico is. And I didn't feel anything, and I think the team played pretty well. So I think the altitude, we feel good in it. And honestly, when you're on the field, you don't really feel it. The atmosphere gets you going, and kind of just feel like a normal game. I don't really think too much about it, and can't really use it as an excuse because both teams are playing in it. So yeah.
All right, no, I'll take that. And I wasn't trying to say that Dylan was not correct on that, but I wanted to feel what that is from. I apologize if there's any loud noises in the background. I have my garage open because it's hot today, and there's kids riding their bikes around the neighborhood. Chris, what is it? Orange County sitting second on the table. We're a little bit over a third of the way through the season. Heading into the season, when you looked at it, if you saw the team here at this point of the season, are you happy, or were your goals a little bit loftier, or were you maybe not as confident that the team would be there at this point of the season, at least?
Yeah, I think, right now, I think we're in a really good position. Preseason was hard to gauge because we were playing pretty good oppositions. We started out with 3 MLS teams, so maybe if you don't win or we gave them a good game, so you don't really know how we're going to stack up against league play. But yeah, so far we're in second place. We're doing really good. If we win the game this weekend in New Mexico, then we're first place. So I don't think you could ask for a better start. And, we kind of got to keep that momentum with a lot of games on the road, but I like where we are right now, and everyone's playing well. So hopefully we can keep it going. And, it's been a really good start to the season for everyone.
And as much as I'd like to ask, 5, 6, 7 more questions, I have some co-hosts here. I'm going to let Larry take the next question. Go for it, Larry.
For sure.
Hey, Chris, always an absolute joy having you on the show. You're always engaging. You always have something very interesting to tell us. But let's talk about personal accolades just a little bit. Right now, you're sitting in second place. You're bunched up with a whole lot of other people for the Golden Playmaker top position. Do you think about things like that, thinking, hey, I got another assist in my back pocket, I'm climbing up the list?
Yeah. I think for me, personally, it's more just, I know that if I'm playing well and helping the team as much as I can, then, those things will come. But, I don't really focus too much on that. It's more just, all I care about is the team winning and us playing well as a team. And like I said, like if the team's winning and we're playing good football, then, the goals and assists will come for all the attacking players and everyone on the team. So, I think obviously my strong suit is, getting assists and setting up players, but, I'm not really thinking about it too much, and it's not really keeping me up at night, but, it's always nice to rack up the assists and goals.
And you racked up a hell of an assist there on Saturday night with that cross into Tom. Now, here's my question in regards to that. Did you see him? Did you know he was cutting there? Or is this one of those situations where I've got a step on the guy, I can put the ball into the box, let's see what happens?
Yeah, it's we're showing the replay. Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think in that moment, I kind of knew there's a few good crosses I put on early in the game, so I was feeling pretty confident hitting the ball. But before the game, I just told Tom when I get the ball off the set piece to try to stay like a little bit back post on the second serve, and I think I just put it in a good spot and he attacked it. So credit to him for getting the goal.
Yeah, he came in there full speed. I mean, if anybody got in his way, they were getting knocked over, no question. And you talk about making these crosses and getting assists and the things that you do. I have a saying that I have been using now for the last couple of seasons. Chris Hegardt is doing Chris Hegardt things. And that assist right there, that's just what we've come to know as a Chris Hegardt thing. It's your niche, and it's where you have it's where you're making your money, and we love seeing it. However, we only get to see this stuff so much. Are you looking at this point to next year, the year after? Because again, you're still a young man, 25 now.
24, yeah, just
24. Okay, you're still a young man. Got a lot of time to play. Are you starting to think about maybe what's next? Because we know people don't stay at Orange County as long as we would like them to.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think, I just try to stay in the moment. I'm just trying to play the best football I can right now and help the team as much as I can. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the future will bring. I would love to be here and keep playing, and I love this team and this club. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've been just enjoying the season, and the team has been playing well, so can't really complain.
No, you really can't. And you know what you and I need together? We need another one of those situations where I'm back there behind the goal and you bang one in the back of the net, and as you're running by, you look and you point at me, because I still have that video on my phone. And every now and then when I need, that was such a cool moment for me. Nobody else. And I know that you didn't like plan that. It just happened. So that was cool. So let's get another one of those sometime here in the not too distant future. Like, how about July 11th? I'm free. You free July 11th?
Yeah, I'm free. I'm free. And I mean, there's so many away games in a row too. So it might be tough in the next few months unless I see you on the road. But yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not going on the road. Not right now. But hey, listen, again, always a pleasure having you here. Dylan's got some questions for you. I'm going to hand it off to him.
Perfect. Thank you.
You know, Chris, I almost want to ask Larry how often he watches that video before he goes to bed, and I feel like it might be every night. So we'll just save us that time. You mentioned that the team's
that would be
playing.
Creepy.
We're talking about you, bud. You mentioned the team's playing well. What do you think the team can do better as we kick on into towards the halfway point of the year?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, like we said, we're going to go on the road for, 5 or 6 games, a lot of travel to the East Coast, some closer games. So I think it's going to test the mental strength of the squad. Going away in this league is not easy. The travel is tough. The time change is tough. So I think it'll really show the character of the team of how well we can do away from home. And, like I said, we're second place. So everyone's going to be playing hard against us. Everyone wants to prove a point against us. So I think these next 1 to 2 months will show a lot of character about this team, and hopefully we can stay up at the top of the table throughout.
Gotcha. And then Chris, because we talked a little bit about the altitude and we talked about travel and everything. What is the hardest part about going on the road for this long? Is it recovery? How do you get through it?
Yeah, I think the hardest part is just being away from home a lot. I kind of I love being around the team and getting in the work, but it's also nice to go home and have your time to yourself and kind of mentally get away from it a little bit. But when you're on the road, you're kind of always in it, team meals, team meetings. So it's a little bit more mentally draining, but that's part of it as well. So you kind of got to adapt and enjoy it. But I honestly like being on the road because, I get to hang out with my teammates, my best friends, and I like my roommates. So it's good.
Appreciate it. I'm going to hand it off to Brad, who's got a handful.
Oh, I don't know quite about a handful, but Chris, welcome back. Always nice having you on the show. So first question for you, obviously there is a lot of games on the road. We've kind of discussed that already, but what are you doing as a player, to keep yourself occupied during so much travel? What does the team kind of do on flights and travel?
Just depends, I think on the away trips, some of the guys like to play card games. I'm a big, I'm still finishing up school online. So, I'll get my schoolwork in, and then, I kind of just like to watch Netflix and some series as well. So I kind of just on the away trips the night before the games and day of, I kind of just like to rest and chill in my room, not do too much and try to just focus on the game.
Awesome. And then we're getting quite close to World Cup season. I think first games are Thursday of this week. So I want to get a little bit of insight. Obviously, you're American born. So where does America, USA place in this tournament?
Yeah, I think they'll do well. I think they face a lot of criticism sometimes, but I think they'll do well, on home soil, and they'll have a lot of support from the fans. And I can see them going far. I can see them maybe going quarterfinals. I think, with playing at the home stadium and having that advantage, and, they're training at our stadium. So give them some good mojo and some good luck. So hopefully they'll go to the quarterfinals. I could see it. And like you said, they're playing in the US. So it'll be, they'll feel the pressure, but they'll deliver.
So obviously US aren't the favorites of the tournament, but I want to know who's your pick, and maybe if you have a couple of insight around the team, what's the consensus from the team on who's winning the World Cup this year?
I think there's a few. I think Argentina with Messi will always be the top. I think Spain will go far. Brazil maybe, and then I think I like Portugal as well, because I think they'll kind of be like that Messi in last year's World Cup, where they're kind of fighting for Ronaldo to get that last World Cup before he's done. So I could see Portugal being pretty competitive, and they have a good team as well. So, those few, and I think the sleeper of the tournament will be Norway. I think they have a good squad, and I think they'll surprise a lot of people.
All right. Thank you for those questions. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back off to Ray.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let Larry go first before I wrap things up, Chris. So Larry, you have something?
Yeah, Chris, you mentioned you watch a lot of Netflix. What's the current Netflix binge?
I I was watching some good series, and then my roommates Grayson Duty and Nico Ben Alcazar, they're big Love Island fans. So the new season came out, so they're watching the daily episodes, and somehow I get hooked into it, and it's not my favorite, but I've been trying to enjoy it with them.
I'm just gonna have to let that go.
Yeah. I don't know if it would be. I don't know if you guys would love it, but yeah, it's a good show. It's some drama.
I have a few things that I watch on Peacock, and I keep seeing the commercials for Love Island, and I think that's just because I'm an old guy and I don't get it. So
yeah, it's like a new generation. It's probably it's just I don't know. It's like entertaining. It's like you're like, what's going on? But
I don't judge. I encourage any and all behavior. If it's something you enjoy, go for it. Do it. Joe Figueroa, one of our listeners, he asked, any good spot you've eaten in OC? And ultimate question, red or green sauce on your tacos?
Ooh, I like green sauce on my tacos. Might be a red flag, but I like green sauce. Any good spots you eat in OC? Damn, that's a good question. There's this. I like Bear Flag. That's a staple. For some pokey. And then I found a good place in Irvine. It's called Sup Noodle Bar. It's like a pho Vietnamese place. It's pretty good. Staple. And then there's this one place in Hermosa Beach we've been going. It's called Tiki Kai, and it's on the pier, and it's pretty good. So that's a little bit out of town, but yeah, those are the favorites.
And all very good choices. What's your protein go to on the pho?
I like the rare steak pho. I'm a big foodie guy, so I like to try restaurants around Orange County. I cook a lot, but I try to find the new trendy places. I try to try a lot of places because I enjoy food and eating, and that's actually one of my hobbies. I like to find new places. So yeah.
I mean, how much of a foodie can you be? You're 5'9", 153 pounds, man. Come on.
No, I'm not 5'9". I'm 5'11". 5'11", 170. They need to change it.
Hold on. Are you sure?
5'10".
Okay.
Don't call him out on height measurements, Larry. Let him claim what he's going to claim. I do want to say for the noodle bar, Chris, that you were mentioning, there are 2 locations. There's also one in Buena Park. I've been to that one. It's really good. I can vouch for it. It's a good noodle bar.
I actually went there tonight, and it's a good place when the wait's an hour on a Tuesday night. So it's a good spot.
Definitely. I know when I went there too, my favorite protein, just to call it out so people can know that was an option too, is just a beef rib, like a big fat beef rib was on there with that you can shred the meat off and go that route. So I don't know if it's something they have all the time, but it's definitely a good call out there. I have one last thing we're going to do. We're going to do 10 rapid fire questions. Actually, it's 9 because Joseph Figueroa asked one of my questions that's part of the rapid fire. Okay. But rules are simple. First answer that comes to mind, give it to us. Let us know. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chris, rapid fire. Apples, red or green?
Red.
Ruby or emerald?
Ruby.
Bell peppers, red or green?
Red.
Cherry flavored candy or apple flavored candy?
Apple.
Red autumn leaves or green spring leaves?
Spring leaves.
Thai curry, red or green?
Red.
Marinara sauce or pesto sauce?
Pesto.
All right, grapes, red or green?
The cotton candy flavored ones.
Lightsaber, red or green lightsaber?
Green.
All right, there we go. Hey, it's all New Mexico theme because the red or green chili question that you get at all the restaurants in Albuquerque. Okay. Red or green theme on that one. Chris, any last message you have for any of the fans that might be making the trip out this weekend or for the remainder of the season as well?
Yeah, thank you guys always, for the support. It means a lot. I think the last home game was in Santa Ana. That was a great atmosphere and a great crowd. It was really fun to play there. So, we're looking forward to getting back at home and enjoying that, but we got a little bit away from home. So hopefully we'll keep pushing on and do some good work, and can't wait to see you guys and appreciate the support. And yeah, thank you guys for having me on. Really, really enjoy it. So thank you.
There we go. Orange County Soccer Club fans, your midfielder, Chris Hegardt. Thank you, Chris, as always, for joining. We look forward to talking to you again in the near future when you have a home match that we can actually talk to you. Have a good one.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys. See you guys soon.
Chris.
All right, there we go. I just got to ask, because I saw Brad shaking his head on some of those red or green answers. I think it was the lightsaber one that Brad did not like the response there. What is your color for lightsaber, Brad?
Hey, the Sith are freaking dope. I have no issues. I just finished watching the Mall show today, the new one. I was a little behind, and great show. I won't spoil anything, but Maul's lightsaber is probably one of the most legendary. Given that it was like the first time you got to see a dual-wielded, dual-sided lightsaber.
And Dylan, cherry or apple flavored candy?
I don't know. I could not tell you.
There's a reason I asked you that question.
Like. Yeah. I did not appreciate the cotton candy grape. That was definitely not the correct answer.
It's funny. I bought those type of grapes a few months back thinking my kids would love them. And they took 1 or 2 bites and like, nope, not doing those. I cannot. And so we wasted and those are not cheap grapes either. Those are usually more expensive than regular old grapes. So I wasted some money there. Larry, red or green grapes?
Green.
Green. All right. Perfect.
Perfect. Unless they've been mashed and fermented.
Okay. I see. I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying.
And then that's definitely always red at that point.
Then it's always red.
Let's do this. Let's get into some other soccer stuff here. Obviously, the World Cup is coming up here. Of the opening, matches here that we'll have over the next week, which one are you most excited for? And we did not prep for this, so you guys might not even know which matches are coming up. So I will chat for a few minutes here while y'all are trying to figure this up. World Cup, again, 3 host countries. You got it: Mexico, United States, Canada, the largest pool of teams that we've ever seen in a World Cup. I think it'll be fun, although it seems like there's some controversy over tickets and stuff like that, but it's kicking off here soon. It's on the 11th. So we are 2 days away from the kickoff of the World Cup. Out of the first, few groups of matches, which one are you most excited to watch, Dylan?
When is Cape Verde playing? Because that's Monday, June 15th, Spain versus Cape Verde. That's what I'm most excited for.
Cabo Verde?
I think that's how they would say it. Yes.
There you go. Perfect. That's a good one to pick there. What about you, Brad?
Mine is going to be obviously as a homer for USL. My game to watch for the first time is 6 p.m. Saturday, June 13th. Same time as our game, unfortunately, but Haiti versus Scotland. Get to see a couple of USL players potentially hitting the pitch there with former Orange County player and Reno player Duke Lacroix and Carl Saint playing as well for Haiti.
What about you, Larry?
Wednesday the 17th, 1:00, England and Croatia. I think it's going to be a good game.
That should be a really, really good match.
Have you guys watched Croatia play a game in the last 10 years?
Hey, and it's against England, right? England always does something Spursy in the World Cup, so you never know what'll happen.
Harry Kane's the captain.
The one that I'm actually looking forward to is going to be on Sunday, the 14th. A underdog story. What I believe is the smallest nation participating in the World Cup in Curacao against Germany. That should be an interesting match. I'm not saying it'll be a close match, but it should be very interesting and fun to watch. And who doesn't love an underdog story? Maybe there will be a good underdog outcome there.
Curaçao's just Netherlands' C team.
I get it. It's their island team. I get it. But weren't they the ones that, like, in their last friendly rolled up in like a school bus with no windows, just like rocking out, having a good old time?
Yes.
That would be fun stuff, man. It'd be fun if they entered, drove to the stadium for all their matches like that, if they could somehow transport that bus over. Talking about international friendlies, I do have to bring up a very scary moment that happened this past weekend. I actually was watching the match live when we saw Ukraine versus Denmark. And it was sort of off on the side. I wasn't focusing on the match, but was watching. And once I saw the rush of people, I knew instantly what was happening. Anyone that has followed Denmark over the past 5 years, and being that I was he's a former Tottenham player, I pay attention. But Christian Eriksen collapsing for a second time during a match. This time he did have his pacemaker that was installed after the first time when his heart stopped for 5 minutes before being revived. That's I guess what they're saying is the reason why he was able to walk off the pitch and walk into the ambulance. But a scary moment. I rewound it. I watched it and saw exactly, like, once I saw you saw him grasp his chest right before they pan away from him. I do appreciate, though, that the coverage during that whole incident, they just didn't even show anything going on. And that's out of respect for a very serious moment. But it also, it was nice to just sort of see this again. This is a friendly. It's a run up to the World Cup. It's a friendly. Nice to see that the match was called there, and it was nice to see the camaraderie between the Ukrainian and Denmark players after the match, with the coaches talking to them. They're all huddled in the circle. Hopefully, safe recovery to Christian Eriksen. I hate to say it, he's been a great player and a great person, it seems like, but it probably is time for him to think about life past soccer, because it's happened 2 times now, which sort of sucks. But yeah. Do we have a question in the chats about hydration?
I mean, you really derailed this one. Let's get the vibes back in order. Gabuchin asks, what are y'all's thoughts on the hydration minute? Larry, you seem thirsty.
There you go.
In what way, Dylan? In what way does he seem thirsty?
I actually responded to him. I literally drink between 100 ounces a day to a gallon a day of water. So I think that them taking a break to get hydrated, it's perfectly fine. I'm okay with it. I think it's actually a good idea.
I'll go ahead and answer, since everyone else is so eager to answer. Look, would you rather them spend 2 minutes a game on cramping in the 94th minute, or 2 minutes a game on hydration, tactics, and a little granola bar on the sideline for 2 minutes a game? Look, it's gonna be hot during the summer. This is the United States. We don't stay, a brisk 70 degrees in the summer like England might. We get freaking hot over here, so any hydration breaks are pretty much a necessity. And we take player health seriously.
I love, Brad, how you are basically saying that by having these hydration breaks, it's going to stop the cramping and stop the gamesmanship of quote unquote.
Oh no, it won't. But
at the end of
the real cramps, hopefully, it will address.
There we go. Anything else soccer related anyone else wants to bring up here before we wrap things up here?
You didn't ask how I felt about.
All right, we'll wrap things up because I didn't get any answer there. What happened?
You didn't ask how I felt about the hydration break.
Well, we all know you, Mr. Run and bike and all that stuff, that you like water.
Say it when what?
Dylan's a fish, and we're gonna move on to other parts of the water.
Electrolytes.
It's got what plants create.
All right, here we go. We're gonna wrap things up. We're gonna wrap things up a little differently this episode, our 8th anniversary episode, and it's gonna be a "What did you learn?" But it's gonna be "What did you learn over the last 8 years?" And we will go to Dylan first.
Well, since I'm the only one that's been here for 8 years, that does make sense. I've learned just how much of a glutton for punishment I am. I have subjected myself to the presence of Ray Zamora for the last 8 years on a near weekly, if not more often basis. But in all seriousness, what a ride. What have I learned? We're not popular. And not like a no one listens to us, because I am very grateful for those who do listen to us, and I
All
do
4 of you.
appreciate our. Hey! There's more than 4. We know this. I just mean the people that hate watch. Here's to you. Thanks.
There we go. What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I've learned over the last, 6 years of me being on the show that we still have not found a legitimate reason to hashtag Samora out and keep him out. But, honestly, the show's a little harder to do without him yammering on for, 45 of our 60-minute show. So we definitely appreciate having him.
Larry, what have you learned?
I've learned that, oddly enough, Brad and I are regularly on the same page about things, because he said almost exactly what I was going to say, just simply because of that one time when you took your hiatus last year and I volunteered to be the number one guy and the host guy on the show. And it was much harder than I thought it was going to be. So, we'll give Ray his props, and we'll give Dylan his props for being Dylan. And we will give Brad his props because of Wendy.
Wow. Brad only gets props because of Wendy. Dylan gets props for being Dylan. And apparently I get props because being the lead talker is not easy. I don't know. Here's what I've learned over the 8 years of this show being on socials, on the air, on whatever you call it, podcast form. Soccer is a community. It's awesome. I've built some really great friendships from this podcast as a soccer community. Dylan, again, random kid that I ran into, and I go to CLC and say, hey, anyone want to maybe talk about Orange County Soccer Club and do a podcast? Who knows if it'll work, but let's try it. Dylan, I think, was the only one willing to do so, probably because he was so young he didn't know better. But he decided to do the show.
With what you're saying, because it sounds like you're like incriminating yourself.
He was of age.
Like
he was of age, but he was so young he didn't know better. When I say young, 19 years old or whatever it may be. But he did the show. And then, my friendship with Brad came from him volunteering to drive Dylan and I around Reno when we decided to make the trip up, and almost making us late for our plane because he said we could get to the airport 45 minutes before the flight takes off. And lo and behold, Dylan is drunk, leaves his phone in Brad's car, and now we're even later, and we were running to the airport like crazy people. Fine. Yeah, Dylan was of age.
More wart.
Meeting Larry and participating in his marriage celebration was a great memory that I've had there, and being able to sing County Roads at the wedding, at the ceremony, freaking awesome. Can't turn that down. Beautiful. And there's other people, that I've built some friendships, even though I might not hang out with them in person. And I think we all can say this, right? Chris Walker is one of those people. I know we were trying to have him on the show tonight, didn't make it on, but he's been a great friend of the show since we've been around and since his shows have been around. Alan Underwood's been a great person. Let's not forget producer Andy, who volunteered a few years back to do some producing for us to make our show look more professional and more like a real show, and not the cluster mess that Dylan and I were trying to do before there was a producer doing stuff. Producer Andy, thank you so much for all that, and thanks for being a good friend and of the show and a partner on this journey.
I am an absolute idiot. You're welcome.
I guess that's Andy's contribution. That's his contribution to what he learned over the last 8 years. Also learned there's some great fans that have been listening to the show since day one, and also that have just found our show and are starting to become listeners and participate with everything on this. I want to thank everyone. It's been a great 8 years. Let's keep this thing rolling. We definitely have to at least make it to 10 years, if not more. And in all that time, we've seen a lot of shows go bye-bye over those years. For everyone involved in this celebratory episode, including original co-host Dylan, plus newer co-hosts Brad, Larry, producer Andy, our special guest tonight, Chris Hegardt from Orange County Soccer Club, and all of you that support and follow and listen to the show, thank you so much. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. We are out.